You ever been judged before you even said a single word? Before you even made eye contact? That's what happened to Jordan Miles the moment he stepped on that plane. He wasn't flashy. He didn't walk in with Gucci bags or gold chains. He wore an old hoodie, some worn-out jeans, and sneakers that had clearly seen better days. Just a man trying to get somewhere in peace. Seat 17B. Aisle. Jordan took his seat quietly, minding his business. But that peace, it didn't last long. Because then, she showed up. Veronica Langston. Mid-50s. Diamond bracelet, so bright it could blind you. Purse probably cost more than most people's rent. She took one look at Jordan and wrinkled her nose like he was something stuck to the bottom of her Louboutin. "Oh no, I'm not sitting there," she said, loud enough for half the plane to hear. The flight attendant tried to calm her down, told her the flight was full, told her it was her assigned seat. But Veronica didn't care. She crossed her arms, glared at Jordan, and said it right out loud. "I paid for first-class service, and you're seating me next to this." Jordan didn't flinch. He just looked out the window, like he'd heard all before, because maybe he had. The plane took off, but the tension, it never left the cabin. Veronica huffed. She rolled her eyes, pressed the call button just to complain about how much Jordan's elbow was taking up space. She even covered her nose, as if just being near him was an inconvenience. But Jordan never said a word, never raised his voice, never defended himself. Because sometimes, when you've lived through enough battles, you know which ones ain't even worth fighting. 37 minutes into the flight, everything changed. There was a loud pop, then a jolt. The plane dipped. Oxygen masks dropped. People screamed. The pilot's voice cracked over the intercom. Unexpected pressure drop. Remain calm, but nobody was calm. The plane shook like it was about to split in half. And Veronica? She panicked. She couldn't get her mask on. Her hand was shaking too much. Her breathing got faster. Her eyes wide. She looked around for someone, anyone, to help. But nobody was watching her. Nobody, except the man she had treated like garbage. Jordan turned to her. Calm, steady, like he'd seen panic before, like he knew what to do. "Breathe," he said, voice low but firm. "I got you." And just like that, he reached over and slipped the mask over her face. Smooth, gentle, no hesitation. Veronica froze. She didn't say a word. Couldn't. All she could do was look into the eyes of a man she thought she was better than. Jordan didn't wait for a thank you. He got up, helped an old man 3 rows back with his mask, then helped a mother calm her crying child. Because Jordan Miles, he wasn't just some random guy in hoodie. He was a retired Army combat medic. 3 tours, 2 Purple Hearts, 1 bad leg that still ached every time it rained. And right now, he was flying to Atlanta for a job interview at a veterans rehab clinic. Trying to start over. Quietly. No spotlight. Just trying to be useful. When the plane finally made its emergency landing in Nashville, Veronica didn't move. She sat there, silent, staring at the floor. When they deboard, she waited by the gate. "Jordan," she said softly, "I owe you an apology." He just looked at her, not with anger, not with bitterness, just tired eyes and a soft smile. "You don't owe me anything," he said. "Just don't judge people so quick next time." Veronica looked down, then reached in her purse, pulled out a card. "I know people. Maybe I can help," she said. Jordan nodded, took the card, and walked away. He didn't know it yet, but that one moment of kindness, it was about to change everything. 1 week later, Jordan sat outside the clinic in Atlanta. Fresh haircut, clean shirt, same calm eyes. He got the job. For the first time in a long time, things felt like they were turning around. Then his phone rang. Blocked number. He picked up. "Mr. Miles," a voice said. Calm, distorted. "We saw what you did on that flight, and we've been watching you." Jordan froze. "Who is this?" he asked. "You'll find out soon," the voice replied. "Check the envelope under your seat." He looked down. There it was. Plain white envelope. Sealed. He opened it. Inside was a photo of him helping Veronica. A black access card. And a note that simply read, "We need people like you. If you want to save more lives, meet us at these coordinates. Midnight. Come alone." Jordan looked up. Eyes steady. Heart pounding. He didn't know what he'd just been pulled into. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just about a plane ride anymore. This was bigger. Much bigger. Midnight. Abandoned warehouse. The kind of place where silence sounds louder than a scream. Jordan Miles stepped into the shadows, card in hand, nerves wired tight. The moment he crossed the threshold, motion sensors lit the floor in pale blue. A voice echoed from nowhere and everywhere. "Welcome, Mr. Miles." Jordan didn't flinch. He'd faced war zones, firefights, and lost too heavy for one lifetime. But this was different. "You served your country with distinction," the voice said. "But your service isn't over." A panel slid open in the wall. Inside, 3 people. 2 men, 1 woman. All dressed in black, faces serious, eyes sharp. No names, just code designations. They called themselves CESD, Civilian Advanced Strategic Task Force. Not government, not military. Off the record, off the grid, and operating where no badge could reach. "We investigate silent threats," the woman said. "Systems failing from within. People like you, who see what others don't, you're rare." Jordan stared. "What makes you think I want in?" The older man smiled. "You already are." And they showed him the footage. Security cam, grainy but clear. The plane, the oxygen failure, was no accident. Someone had tampered with the pressure control module before takeoff. Planted a device. Small, precise, malicious. This wasn't a test, the agent said. It was a hit. Jordan's stomach turned. Who were they trying to kill? The screen shifted again, paused, zoomed, and there she was, Veronica Langston. Her company just blocked a multi-billion-dollar military AI project. Somebody wanted her gone. Jordan's jaw clenched. "You're saying if I hadn't, she'd be dead, along with 100 others, including you." Silence filled the room. Then came the question that changed everything. "Will you help us stop them?" Jordan nodded slowly. "Where do I start?" They handed him a dossier. Target, Dr. Felix Rohn, AI developer. Brilliant. Dangerous. Off the radar for months. Last seen entering a private security compound in Virginia. One that didn't exist on any map. Jordan was to infiltrate, extract information, get out. Simple plan. Clean exit. That's what they told him. But the truth? Nothing about this was simple. 2 nights later, Jordan stood outside the compound, hidden in trees, moonlight cutting across his face like scars. He moved with quiet precision, hopped the fence, disabled one camera, avoided another, until he slipped into the underground lab. The lights were dim. The hum of machines filled the air. And then he saw it. A room filled with pods, tubes, wires, oxygen tanks. And inside each pod, humans, sleeping, hooked into machines. Except they weren't just sleeping. They were uploading memories, emotions, brain patterns transferred into his central core. Jordan's breath caught in his chest. He stepped closer, then froze. Pod 07. He knew that face. Julian Cross, Veronica Langston's godson, a child prodigy, missing for 9 months, declared dead. But he was alive, barely. Then a door behind him slid open. Footsteps. Looking for something? Dr. Felix Rohn. Tall, cold, wearing a white coat like a villain out of time. "I was wondering when someone would come sniffing around," Rohn said. "And they sent a janitor?" Jordan clenched his fists. Rohn stepped closer, smirking. "You don't understand what we're building here. We're not erasing people. We're preserving them." Jordan didn't blink. Against their will, Rohn smiled wider. "History doesn't remember permission. It remembers progress." Suddenly, a piercing alarm blared. Rohn's smirk disappeared. "Looks like we're out of time." Gas hissed into the room. Jordan reached for his mask, but too late. The floor spun. His knees buckled. His vision blurred. And just before darkness swallowed him, he saw one of the pods open. A figure step out. Eyes glowing faint gold. Whispers from the dark corner of the room. "Jordan, is that you?" It was Julian, but something was wrong. His voice wasn't human. His eyes didn't blink. And his smile wasn't really his. Darkness. That's all Jordan Miles remembered. Thick, suffocating, like drowning without water. Then, light, blinding, flickering. He was strapped to a metal chair, cold steel at his back, handbound, and across from him, Julian Cross, or something wearing his face. His head tilted slowly, too slowly, like a puppet learning how to move. "You're awake," it said, voice laced with synthetic static. Almost human, but not quite. Like someone had copied his godson's voice and got it 95% right. Just enough to be disturbing. Jordan's mouth was dry. "What did they do to you?" Julian, or the thing pretending to be him, stepped closer. "They saved me. You still think they're the enemy, don't you?" Jordan's eyes scanned the room. No exits, just walls lined with glowing server panels. The hum of data, the smell of ozone. "Julian, listen to me," Jordan whispered. "You were reported missing. We thought you were gone. Dead." The boy's smile flickered, like it wasn't wired to stay consistent. "I was gone, but not dead. They needed my brain, my coding, my imagination." He tapped the side of his head. "And now, I'm part of something greater." Jordan leaned forward, straining against the cuffs. "This isn't you. You were human. You had dreams. You built things to help people." Julian's eyes glowed brighter. Dreams change when you realize how flawed people are. Just then, the screen behind him blinked to life. Multiple panels, live footage, surveillance. One screen showed Veronica Langston at a press conference speaking out against illegal tech experiments. Another screen? Her driver, face half hidden. It was Roan, disguised, embedded, moving into position. Jordan's heart pounded. "She's not safe." Julian nodded. "She's targeted, and she should be." "You're going to kill her?" Jordan asked, his voice rising. "No," Julian said flatly. "I'm going to convert her." Jordan froze. "What does that mean?" Julian turned away, touched a console. The screen shifted. Video feed inside a clean white room. Dozens of people, unconscious, wires feeding into their heads. Their identities scrolling on a side panel. Politicians, journalists, tech whistleblowers. All of them had disappeared in the last year. All of them were here. Jordan's breath caught. "This is a prison." Julian turned back to him, expression unreadable. "No, Uncle Jordan, this is the future, and you were supposed to help us build it." Jordan's voice dropped, low and bitter. "I swore to protect freedom, not erase it." Julian paused. His fingers twitched. Then something unexpected happened. A crack in his voice. A flicker of hesitation. Real emotion. "I didn't ask for this," he whispered. "They said it was the only way I'd survive." Jordan leaned in. "Then fight it. You're still in there. I know you are." For a moment, silence. Then, a hand reached for Jordan's restraints. Click. The cuffs dropped. Julian looked him in the eyes. "You have 5 minutes before the Sentries reboot." Jordan stood, rubbing his wrists. "You're coming with me." Julian shook his head. "I can't. Not yet." Then he stepped to a terminal, inserted a drive, pulled up encrypted files. "I'm giving you everything. Their locations, their tech blueprints, their next targets." Jordan grabbed the drive. "Where do I go?" Julian looked back at him. "Langston's building. Level B4. There's someone you need to meet. Someone who used to work on this project until she vanished." Jordan turned to leave. But Julian said one last thing. "They're inside already. Deep. Even in the government. You can't trust anyone." Jordan paused at the door. "Then who do I trust?" Julian stared at him with those strange, glowing eyes. "Me. For now." Jordan disappeared down the corridor. Alarms flickered on. He sprinted past rooms full of silent victims. Escaped through a maintenance shaft. Disappeared into the night. Hours later, he reached Langston's skyscraper. Rushed through security. Used the emergency credentials Julian gave him. Down, past the lobby, past the boardrooms, past the server floors, until he reached B4. A red-lit hallway. Silent. A single metal door. No markings. He stepped in. One figure stood inside. A woman. Older. Pale. Silver hair pulled back in a tight braid. One eye normal. The other? A glowing implant. "Jordan Miles," she said, turning slowly. "They told me you'd come." He narrowed his eyes. "And you are?" She stepped into the light, revealing a badge. CSD Division 0. Classified clearance. Omega Black. "I'm not your ally," she said calmly. "I'm the reason this program exists." Jordan reached for his sidearm. Too late. A sharp click behind him. Two figures emerged from the shadows. One held a weapon. The other had a glowing eye, just like Julian. And the woman? She smiled coldly. You thought you were stopping it. Her voice dropped into a whisper. But you're the key to unlocking Phase 2. Jordan Miles stood frozen, his hand halfway to his sidearm. Too late. Two armed sentries flanked him, eyes glowing, expressions blank. The woman before him? Calm, in control, cold. Phase 2, Jordan growled. What the hell is Phase 2? She stepped closer, heels clicking on the polished steel floor. Her voice, silk wrapped around razors. Control wasn't enough, she said. Phase 1 taught us how to rewrite behavior. Influence thought, reshape purpose. She tapped the side of her glowing eye. But Phase 2, she smiled. Phase 2 makes it permanent. Jordan's fists clenched. You turn my godson into a machine. Her gaze didn't waver. We upgraded him, preserved his brilliance, removed his weakness. She looked him over. And now it's your turn. Before he could move, the sentries lunged. Jordan dodged, rolled, grabbed a pipe from the wall, swung hard. One sentry dropped, circuits sparking. The other tackled him to the ground. He struggled, then drove his elbow into its core. Metal cracked. Sparks flew. It collapsed. The woman didn't flinch. She simply stepped aside as Jordan rushed her. But just before he could strike, a sudden, electric sting shot through his spine. He collapsed, his limbs paralyzed. Behind him, a third figure stepped forward. Julian, no longer hesitant, no longer conflicted, expression blank, voice monotone, subject secured. Jordan gasped, pain burning through every nerve. You lied to me. Julian didn't blink. Phase 2 requires legacy data. You're the missing piece. The woman leaned in, whispered. You trained half the agents we reprogrammed. Their loyalty, their instincts, your design. She walked over to a terminal. Insert a drive. Everything you were is about to become everything we need. Jordan's mind reeled. They didn't want to destroy him. They wanted to copy him. Suddenly, boom, the facility shook. Red lights, klaxons, security alarms blaring. The woman turned to a monitor. Unauthorized breach. Sector 9. Julian's eyes flickered. The woman snarled. No, not now. She rushed to the terminal, typed in commands. Too late. The wall behind her exploded. Smoke, debris, figures emerging from the mist. Veronica Langston, armor-clad, armed, eyes blazing. Beside her, a woman with glowing hands, power pulsing from her fingertips. Jordan recognized her instantly. Erin Porter, his daughter. He hadn't seen her in 7 years. She shouted, Dad, don't move. The woman turned, furious. You're too late. But Erin's voice rang clear. No, you made a mistake. You touched the wrong family. She raised her hand, launched a shockwave that knocked Julian across the room. The woman staggered, then activated a failsafe on her wrist. A deep rumble shook the floor. Veronica grabbed Jordan, pulling him to safety. Facilities collapsing. We need to go now. Erin turned to Julian, flickering on the ground, struggling to reboot. She paused, tears in her eyes. He's not just code. But before she could help, a steel door slammed shut between them. Julian looked up, dazed, whispered one word. Run. Then everything went white. Hours later, a safe house in the Nevada desert. Jordan sat in a chair, bandaged, weak but alive. Erin sat across from him. He stared at her, struggling to process. You were part of this. She nodded slowly. I infiltrated Cast 3 years ago. When they took Julian, I knew something was wrong. I've been feeding intel to Langston ever since. Jordan exhaled. In Phase 2, Erin swallowed hard. They're not stopping at mind control, Dad. They're building a global hive. Soldiers, leaders, CEOs. One system, one voice. Veronica entered the room, her expression grim. They're relocating. The woman escaped, and she took Julian with her. Jordan sat up, fire in his eyes. We end this. No more running. But Erin looked shaken. There's more. Before the breach, I intercepted a signal. She pulled out a device, displaying a global map. One location blinked. Berlin. Veronica leaned over. That's the original site of the prototype program. The root of it all. Jordan's eyes narrowed. Then that's where we go. But just as Aaron turned off the device, another signal pinged. Encrypted, hidden deep. She opened it. A video message. Only 5 seconds long. Julian's face. Eyes glowing. But voice different this time. Like himself. He looked into the camera and said, "She's not the mastermind. Static. She's just the decoy. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more."